Oh god. Hello everybody. It is Sunday, March 9th as I'm recording this. And I'm tired as hell. It's 7:05 in the afternoon. Gonna be going for supper reasonably soon. But we missed last Monday, and I feel like I should explain why. So the podcast was not out last Monday because I just did not have the time to end up catching up for another episode. I actually just got a bunch of stuff recorded. I hadn't recorded for like a whole week. Um, so yeah, if you've seen within the next few days, there isn't going to be any videos on the letter, and it's because I literally have not been able to record, and I recorded a little bit this weekend, so like yesterday, and on Friday night maybe, but like besides that, I've not really had the chance to record much. Um, I also have not recorded any shorts, so that will be something that I'm going to try to get done. And as you have also probably seen by now, Danny1234 was back in some of the videos, so that was cool. Um, I'm just trying to think what else to talk about. Well, um, first of all, there's there's quite a bit I could actually talk about, so I'm just gonna yap a little bit about a show as I've done before, because I can. So the Walking, or actually, wait. First, let me talk about the weekly podcasts or the daily podcasts channel. We're not doing that anymore, and the reason being, it's stupid. Like we have this podcast here where we could talk about anything. So yeah. Anyways, The Walking Dead. That's what I was gonna talk about. So yeah, The Walking Dead's pretty good. So if you've watched the whole show, I know it start to finish. Like the first episode started with Rick Grimes, Morgan, and Shane. And I think Lori. Did we see Lori in the first episode? I don't think so. First episode was Shane, Rick, and Morgan and Dwayne. Um, I believe. Yeah, I think I'm right because Rick comes out of the hospital. Well, actually, okay, the episode starts out with him being at the gas station. He goes over to the gas station. He ends up basically having. Yeah, he goes over to the gas station with a gas tank because he's trying to find some gas. And he finds little girl. And little girl is the little girl. It's a zombie little girl. And he ends up having to shoot her. He freaks out, blah, blah, blah. You know, all that happens. This is clearly a little bit in the future, though, because as we see when the episode starts, they're in the normal world before the zombie apocalypse, or before the apocalypse. They don't call them zombies in the show, they call them walkers. And Shane and him are sitting in the car, and Shane's talking about how his wife and all this stuff, something about turn off a light switch, all this stuff. And they get a call that there is a um, armed robbery. There's armed criminals, individuals that are on the road, and the call they end up going on the road. They go all the way out. They go all the way out on the road, and they get out. Somebody, the one sheriff guy, is talking about how he think it'd be cool to get on one of those reality TV shows, and Shane agrees. Um, while Rick is focused. Anyways, so basically what happens is people start shooting, they get into a shootout, and Rick gets shot. But this time it wasn't that bad. You know, it wasn't as bad. It was just like a quick scrape almost. And he was like, "Don't you tell Laura about this." And then Shane's like, "I won't, man. I wouldn't do that." And then all of a sudden another shot goes off. Rick is dead. Not dead though. He's currently fading out of existence on the ground. And Rick says, and Shane gets on and starts doing CPR. Says, "Stay with me, man. Stay with me." Anyways, we get a flashback. We end up cutting to the hospital. Shane's over flowers, saying they robbed him from. Can't remember what he said, but he said, "Here's some flowers." Something about some collection of some sort. Anyways, Rick wakes up laughing, thinks it's still there, even though this clearly happened a while ago. And he falls out the bed. All this stuff happens. Flowers are dead. And he ends up. The water works still, surprisingly. Water works. He ends up getting some of the water from the sink. I think he splashes it on his face or something. I can't remember exactly how it went. Anyways, he ends up trying to find the nurse. There is no nurse. Nurse is dead. So he goes to the hall, and there's a dead person, dead walker, dead zombie, just dead, dead in the hospital. This is where we find out about this is the zombie apocalypse. It's the Walking Dead. So he goes outside. He goes to his old home. What happens exactly? He finds a bike, takes the bike, ends up at Morgan's home, and he gets hit by a shovel, which Dwayne was holding. Dwayne is like, I got one. Morgan comes over and he's like, no, that's a person. And so basically, he puts him to a bed, he ties him to a bed, and Rick wakes up, they have a talk, they get to know each other. Comes night, he teaches him about walkers and how CDC and all these other communities said that they were going to come help. Hasn't happened yet. And we also find out that Morgan's ex-wife, or Morgan's wife, deceased wife, is currently dead and a walker outside. And the lights attract her. So they have to board up the windows and all that, and they actually attract the zombies, but she comes up to the windows and the door every night. It's almost like she still remembers, which is weird. But yeah, it's that actually I never really thought about it, but it is weird because it's almost like she still remembers. And we don't usually see that with zombies or like with walkers in the show, but it almost felt like, yeah, it felt like she still remembered, like she was drawn to that house. And it makes me wonder, because now there's like these hybrid zombies and stuff now in the future. It makes me wonder if they're still alive somewhere in there. Which Dr. Jenner, I can't remember exactly what Dr. Jenner says, but he says something kind of away from the lines of that, so I don't know how, but I think there's a possibility. There is a possibility. But, with that being said, yeah, now to the final episode. I just explained to you the whole first episode. So now you get to hear about not the whole first episode. You guys should go watch it yourself. I'm not explaining to you the whole first episode. It's a lot to explain, a lot of details to get into. Basically, let's just skip all the way to the end. Now, the end is crazy. We have Rosita. We have Gabriel, Eugene, Judith. Now, see how I mentioned none of these names in the beginning? You want to know why? Because none of them were there. Though, little fun fact about the beginning. Lori was actually pregnant with Judith. So, she just didn't know it yet, but she had been sleeping with Shane. Judith is actually Shane, which Shane's baby, which Shane is Rick's partner, but that's a whole different story for another time. Anyways, Judith is alive in the final season, so is RJ. RJ is Michonne and Rick's son. And you want to know where Michonne and Rick are? Not there. Because as far as we know, Rick might be dead. And as far as we know, Michonne's going to look for the guy who might be dead. And who is most likely dead because he blew up on a bridge. which you will have to go watch to like actually understand any of what I'm saying right now. Eugene is a guy that they met a long time back with a ginger guy named Abraham, and Rosita was there too in that group. So yeah, that's about all. I will see you all next time though. Thank you for tuning into this podcast, and I promise I will not miss another Monday. Bye bye.